The assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk has sent shockwaves through the nation, and House Speaker Mike Johnson believes this tragic event could mark a pivotal moment for the country. But here's where it gets controversial. Johnson is urging political leaders to tone down their heated rhetoric, warning that the current climate of hostility may be fueling dangerous actions. Speaking on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan, Johnson, a Republican from Louisiana, emphasized the urgent need for lawmakers to stop framing policy disagreements as existential threats to democracy or the republic. He called out the harmful practice of labeling opponents with extreme terms like Nazis and fascists, explaining that such language only exacerbates tensions and can incite unstable individuals to violence. There are some deranged people in society, Johnson said, and when they see leaders using that kind of language so often now increasingly, it spurs them on to action. We have to recognize that reality and address it appropriately. Johnson also expressed encouragement that members of Congress from both parties are beginning to acknowledge the problem and take steps to address it. This bipartisan recognition is crucial, especially in the aftermath of Kirk's assassination, which occurred last week at Utah Valley University in what authorities have described as a targeted attack. The suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, has been charged with aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, and felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, according to booking records from the Utah County Sheriff's Office. Utah Governor Spencer Cox revealed that Robinson is not cooperating with investigators, leaving the motive behind this violent act unclear. Johnson described the emotional impact of Kirk's death on Capitol Hill as a complex mix of anger, sadness, and fear. It cast a large shadow across the country and the nation's capital, he said. Yet he reminded everyone of Kirk's spirit, saying, "My good friend Charlie would not want any of us to be consumed by despair. He would want us to go forward boldly." That was his message, and to do it in love. And I think that, I hope, is the message that continues in the days ahead. To honor Kirk's memory, Congress held a moment of prayer and silent reflection on the House floor shortly after his death. Additionally, a vigil for prayer and reflection is planned at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., later this Sunday, followed by another moment of prayer and reflection led by Johnson on Monday. This will continue, Johnson affirmed. I think that the country needs to see leaders in Congress and leaders with platforms all around the country speaking truth and bringing calm to the situation. Drawing inspiration from President Abraham Lincoln's call to the nation's better angels, Johnson urged everyone to adopt the approach exemplified by Charlie Kirk. While Kirk was passionate about vigorous debate and championed the free exchange of ideas, he was also motivated by genuine love and respect for those with opposing views. He never hated the person on the other side of the table, Johnson said. And I think everyone would do well to be reminded of that model. In the days following the assassination, Johnson has been in communication with fellow lawmakers, many of whom are grappling with fear and uncertainty. He has been working to reassure them, emphasizing that necessary security measures will be put in place to protect public officials. This concern is echoed at the federal level, where the White House is preparing to request $58 million from Congress to enhance security for the executive and judicial branches in response to the heightened threat environment. Sources familiar with the matter told CBS News that while the Trump administration supports increased funding to safeguard congressional members, it may leave the final decision to the legislative branch. Meanwhile, House GOP leaders are actively reviewing all options to ensure adequate resources are allocated for the personal and residential security of lawmakers. Johnson acknowledged the courage required to lead in such turbulent times, praising first responders, military personnel, and political figures who step forward daily despite risks. It does take a certain measure of courage to step out and to lead, he said. This tragic event raises important questions. How much does the tone of political discourse contribute to real-world violence? Are leaders doing enough to foster respectful debate and reduce polarization? And could a shift toward more compassionate dialogue truly change the course of the nation? We invite you to share your thoughts and join the conversation below. Do you agree with Johnson's call for cooler heads? Or do you believe stronger measures are needed to address the root causes of such violence?